Hi, I'm Sonia Rodriguez, and today I will introduce the presentation about listening assessment. Let's start explaining what is a listening assessment. A listening assessment evaluates a person's ability to understand and interpret spoken language by having them listen to audio input and then respond to related questions or tasks. These assessments can measure comprehension of main ideas, specific details, vocabulary, grammatical structures, and even implied meaning and speaker attitude. The second one is improved critical thinking skills. Listening skills are also important in upgrading critical thinking skills. The ability to listen, therefore, enables children to be more capable of analyzing and interpreting information more accurately. The third one is enhanced focus and attention to details. In this case, students develop concentration and attention, which is necessary to focus on a particular task for a longer period of time. Listening skills allow students to see difficult problems as opportunities and create solutions from different perspectives. And the last one is related to the culture, sets cultural awareness and global perspective. Listening skills help children to listen to others and actively synthesize the information. This allows them to focus on developing empathy and understanding through checking different perspectives, which allows them to develop cultural awareness.
Hello everyone, my name is Sebastián Garrido and I will now talk about how we contextualize the exercise and why we choose this topic for our listening assessment. To begin with, let's contextualize the exercise. The activity was designed for students at a basic level of English proficiency, where they are expected to understand short oral texts about familiar situations. For that reason, we select the daily routine of a girl named Sarah, which includes simple actions like waking up, going to school, eating meals, and playing with her dog. These are everyday situations that the students can easily relate to. The test was divided into three sections: multiple choice, sequencing, and true or false, which allow students to practice listening comprehension in progressive steps, from identifying general ideas to recognizing order, and finally, to verifying specific details. By using a clear and familiar context, students feel more confident and motivated to complete the activities. Now, about the justification of the topic, we choose daily routines because it is one of the most relevant and practical themes in beginner English course. According to the curriculum and the main standards, students at this level should be able to talk about themselves, their habits, and their everyday activities. This topic connects directly to their personal life, which makes the learning experience more meaningful. Also, daily routines introduce key vocabulary and basic grammar structures that can later be applied to other communicative contexts. In addition, the theme is inclusive because all the students, regardless of their background, have daily activities they can identify with, making their test fair and accessible for everyone. In conclusion, the exercise was contextualized in a simple and familiar setting that reflects a students' real lives, and the topic of daily routines was chosen because it is both pedagogically relevant and motivational for learners at this stage.
Hello everyone, my name is Laura Saucedo, and today I'm going to talk about the objective of our listening assessment. The objective of this listening assessment is for students to listen to an audio recording about a simple daily routine and demonstrate that they understand what they hear. This type of activity helps students practice real English used in everyday life and strengthen important skills such as active listening, understanding basic structures, and vocabulary related to routines. To implement this listening assessment, we begin the class by introducing vocabulary related to daily routine. Then, students listen to an audio recording about the daily routine of a girl named Sarah and complete 3 types of exercise. In the first part, which accounts for 30% of the theory, students work on the sub-skill of listening for gist by choosing the main idea of the audio recording through multiple choice questions. In the second part, which accounts for 40%, they practice recognized sequence by putting the day's activities in the correct order. This activity allows students to improve their listening comprehension in a progressive and contextualized way. Finally, in the third part, which accounts for 30%, students develop listening for detail by identifying specific information such as schedules and actions, answering true or false questions.
Hello everyone, my name is Esli Bastidas and I will continue the presentation by explaining which basic competency standards in foreign languages, English, MEN document, were implemented in our listening test and also the main challenges and creative solutions that appear during the design process. First, regarding the standards, our test focuses on competencies related to understanding simple oral tests about daily routine. According to the MEN, at a basic level, students should be able to identify familiar words, phrases, and expressions. Those are related to everyday contexts, such as personal habits, time, and family. In our test, these standards are reflected in different sections. For example, in the multiple choice question, students listen for a specific information like the time Sarah wakes up or who she eats breakfast with. In the sequence activity, they practice understanding order and progression, which is also part of the standards for comprehension. Finally, in the true or false question, they show their ability to recognize details and check understanding of simple oral tests. In this way, the test directly applies MEN standards by evaluating listening comprehension in familiar and meaningful context. Now, about the challenges, one common difficulty was making sure the listening activity was not too complex for the student's level. For example, long adios or advanced vocabulary could confuse them. A creative solution was to design a short, clear audio with everyday actions and simple grammar so the students could focus on comprehension rather than on decoding difficult words. Another challenge was keeping students engaged during the test, since listening tasks sometimes feel repetitive. To solve this, were included varied exercises, multiple choice, sequencing, and true or false, so students practice different sub-skills and remain motivated. Finally, we faced the challenge of adapting the standards into a practical classroom activity. The solution was to connect the content of the test to students and real-life experiences, like routines and family, which makes the activity more meaningful and aligned with the MEN and guidelines. So, in conclusion, the basic competency standards guided the design of our test by ensuring that the task matched the expected listening skill for this level. At the same time, the challenges we faced pushed us to use creativity, making the test not only valid but also engaging and accessible for students. Thanks.